Hi, everybody, and welcome to Houston Life. I'm Derek Shore, along with Chow Win. All morning, we have been following those tragic events coming out of Las Vegas following that horrible mass shooting last night.
And our hearts go out to the more than 400 injured, the families of the more than 50 dead, and all those brave first responders who rushed to the scene.
Yeah, hard to believe. Actually, now more than 500 even in hospitals.
Oh, the tally is just heartbreaking.
Yeah, today on Houston Life, we will have some safety tips. Plus, we're going to talk with a special investigator from the FBI who will walk us through how Houston is preparing for something like this to happen.
I think many of us wonder what we could have done or what we would do if we find ourselves in similar situations. So here with us is Rania. She is the Executive Director of Crime Stoppers of Houston, joining us on just tips on staying safe, because this is on everyone's mind this morning.
You know, it's so heartbreaking, and it's why we talk about active shooters throughout the year, and we say don't think about it after the fact. Or, you know, when you hear a story breaking like this horrific story in Las Vegas, we want people to be thinking about it all the time. And actually talking to kids, we'll talk to parents and their kids are going to a concert, and we'll say, well, you know, did you even mention the possibility? And they, no, we don't want to scare our children. Nobody wants to scare their children. You want to go have fun and go out. But the reality is, the worst situation is to be in an active shooter and have no clue what to do, to still be dealing with the shock. When you look at the video, and we know over 500 injured in this case, 58 shot and killed, a lot of the injuries were just from people running. They didn't know which way to go. They're in complete shock. So what we try to tell people is think through every scenario. Be prepared mentally, emotionally, and physically. If the unthinkable would happen, know what to do. You know,
we heard so many stories this morning coming out of Vegas on people calling their family members, their friends, live streaming, videotaping. I mean, I think you're right. People aren't thinking they're there to enjoy a concert.
Yeah. And we want you go have fun, do everything you're going to do, and that's Crime Stoppers' motto. Do everything you're going to do, but do it thinking about your safety, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think it's important that people take into consideration that we're living in a different time. We're living in a new world. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. There is some threat wherever you are now.
This venue obviously was very large. I mean, 22,000 people there in Vegas. But any time, Rania, we're in public, it could be a shopping mall, it could be a movie theater, a concert, a sporting event. When you're dealing with a massive venue, when you're dealing with that many people in one place, is it realistic that you can actually stay safe, or is it just a matter of bad luck? Because clearly we can't predict when these events will happen.
What's so funny is, and it's not funny, but what's so tragic is our responses evolve. So if it happens in a school, we put safety measures in for the school. If it happens in a mall, we put safety measures in for the mall. This is a completely public venue. This man was not even at the venue. He was at a hotel on the 30-something floor. But the idea is, if you go into the venue knowing that there is a potential risk, and think about your exit strategy wherever you are, with a group of people, with whomever it may be, and talk about, if something were to happen, let's just go left. Let's just go left, or let's go right, or whatever it might be. At least you're mitigating that time of panic and just unbelief of what's going on, and you're already on to the safety route, your safety exit. You've already thought through, and you're already on your way out. The panic alone is, I think, what's so traumatizing, and it's what we can handle. We can't control mental health. We can't control gun laws. We can't control who's going to pick up a weapon and what they're going to do. This man's family was completely clueless as to what he was going to do, but we can control our response and the planning we put in place to keep ourselves safe.
I got to tell you, the first responders were just incredible. You hear the reports of police getting in front of all of these guests at the venue and really putting themselves in harm's way. And not even flinching.
Running into a situation where there's still an active shooter, putting exactly what you just said, themselves in harm's way. Rania, I want to go back to something you just said. You talked about making a plan so that in case something happens, we're out at a concert, go left.
Yeah.
Does this really mean that we need to be discussing on a case-by-case basis? Like, if Chow and I go out to El Tiempo for dinner on a Sunday, do we need to have this conversation when we're being seated at our table? Hey, if something happens at this restaurant,
why not?
Let's go out that way.
You know what?
You know?
I mean, it's horrible to think that we live in that type of world, but we at Crime Stoppers have covered cases of mass robberies in local restaurants in the middle of the afternoon. So why it takes one conversation, maybe 4 sentences, to just say, hey, you know what? If something were to happen today, what do you think we should do? I do it with my kids in a movie theater. Hey guys, we're gonna have the best time. But listen, if anything, a fire alarm goes off, that door right there, that's the one we're just gonna all walk to. And don't be afraid, we have a plan, you're gonna be fine. It's literally a few sentences. It's not foolproof. There are casualties, and there is hysteria in cases like this. We saw it, and what's so heartbreaking is the videos of people on top of each other, you know, trying to just survive and protect their loved ones. It's so tragic, but if people just think about public safety first and foremost, a lot of these tragedies can be mitigated.
You know, Rania, in your line of work, public safety is paramount. When it comes to looking at massive shooting investigation and looking at the profile of shooters, what do you guys come up with when you see a situation like this?
It's evolving. Yeah. We all know about the religious ideology, the terrorism that's tied to that. We all know that there's hatred that runs deep in this country, and that there's terrorism tied to that. Domestic terrorism, international terrorism. But what we need to stop and talk about as a country, as a city, is mental health and the nexus between mental health and crime. I've been arguing for over a year to launch a new program that would combat this specifically and start in schools. Start with the youngest kids, this new generation of being able to identify red flags and not just alienate someone because they're quote unquote weird or they keep to themselves, but look for underlying red flags that there might be a mental illness, that this person could pose a risk to themselves or others. And as a community, step in to help. We don't isolate, we don't name call, we don't bully. We step in as a community to help, because this is only going to continue to get worse. It's going to continue to escalate, and we've got to be there to help each other.
In this case, though, Rania, it seems like, because we all know that if you see something, say something mantra, obviously we will learn more details about the shooter in the coming days. He's 64 years old, a white male, living in Mesquite, Nevada. His family is totally shocked, they say, by this. So, again, is it really realistic to be able to plan ahead and see warning signs from someone like this man who maybe wasn't sending out any warning signs?
And that's where you go back to the previous conversation, that yes, even if you're at El Tiempo, the risk is there, because we don't know who's going to pick up the next assault rifle. We just don't know. Family members don't know. I mean, there are cases where it's obvious, where they've pledged, where kids have written a manifesto, where they talked about, you know, worshiping the Columbine shooters. We just saw that a few days ago. But where it's not there, it falls on us to say we are going to be thinking about public safety. If something were to happen, we have a strategy and a plan to exit where we are and to exit safely. We know a meeting point. We know who to call. We know what we're going to do, because the profile has changed so much, and we can't pinpoint the exact shooter anymore.
And sadly, this is the reality that we live now.
This is our
sort of backup plan of what we're going to do.
Yeah. Do you talk to your kids, by the way, Chow, about like a game plan? Because you and Rania might be able to.
You know, I didn't, but I think after today I will.
And there's a way to do it. I know, you know, when you have young kids, there's a way to do it where you're being safety minded. I'll tell you, even with a storm, knowing that our kids just saw the remnants of Harvey, to just say, look, our house is prepared, we're prepared, we have this plan in place if we need to leave. The conversation can mitigate so much of the chaos after and the emotional trauma after. And that's where we really step in and say people need to start talking, because unfortunately this is going to happen again, and we want to do everything we can to prevent it, but also to deal with it in the aftermath.
There's going to be lots of conversations with children, with people in our community about prevention and things we could have done. I think the thing that's really telling to me is people say, you know, speak out when you see something odd with a person. And I think that's probably the best advice we could give them.
What also, though, do? We have just about a minute left, but in terms of the way we are living our lives now, Rania, I know you both mentioned this is a whole new world. It's sad that this has become a reality. I hope we don't accept it as normal.
We can't.
But we also, I think the inclination is to maybe stay home and avoid going to these things, but you can't live your life like that, right?
And that's why our big message is you go out, you do everything, you have the best life, the fullest life you're able to have, but do it public safety minded, and do it knowing who is in your community, who should you be watching, and what steps should you be taking to keep yourself safe.
Okay, Rania, we got to leave it there. Rania Mancarius from Crime Stoppers, thanks so much for your work in the community. And if you all would like more information about the kind of work that Crime Stoppers does, you can just visit their website, crime-stoppers.org.